Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I am so grateful, super grateful for yet another Friday. If this is your first time tuning in to Conversations with Toy, please don't make it your last. Make sure that you listen to other episodes. We cover all types of topics from self-care, mental health, family relationships. Pretty much we cover it all. Sometimes we dibble and dabble in social media if it's a hot topic. All kinds of things that we do here on this podcast. But it's not a coincidence that you're here, and it's not a coincidence that you're tuning into this particular episode. So sit back, relax. If you're on your treadmill trying to get your body right, we're here for that. If you're folding up your laundry like I do when I listen to podcasts, go ahead and go with the flow. But we are so grateful to have you here for this particular episode. I have had a pretty decent week. I cannot complain. Last week I was on a little bit of a staycation. If you missed that episode, go ahead and listen to it. If you have not been to Long Beach, New Jersey, and you're in the area, you really should give it a try and make sure you stay at Daddy-O's. You will love it. You will absolutely love it. The vibes, they all passed the vibe check. Everything about that facility was amazing, great. And I'm not just saying that because they had me there. If it was something wrong, y'all already know I would say something. Why? Because I feel like honest opinions matter. And it's okay to respectfully say if something is not okay. I feel like you should always work with the company first to figure out whatever it is that needs to be fixed or what could be changed or what, a suggestion. Always, but there's nothing wrong with giving an honest opinion because let me just say, traveling has become extremely expensive. It is more expensive now to travel than it's ever been before. So I don't want you to waste your money, your ducats, your coins, your farthings, whatever you're using to go on vacation and then be like, this is not at all what she said it was. Like, I don't need that to happen for you. So I would say, yes, going to Daddy-O is a very amazing place. And I did not have any issues whatsoever, not indirectly or directly. It couldn't have gone more perfectly. It was probably the most seamless vacation or staycation that I've ever taken. So many times, especially when you link up with other hotels, and especially for me being a content creator and they have you come to stuff, it still can be a hassle. Like as far as check-in and what time, they were the most absolutely laid back. They basically said, come in anytime in the afternoon, check in, and this is where you want to be for dinner and drinks. When I tell you it was seamless, I literally came in, showed my ID. They gave me the 411, gave me my card. I went to my room and no one bothered me. I was able to get almost a 2.5 to 3 hours sleep. And I needed that rest. I didn't even realize how tired I was. I don't know how I don't, because every time I come on here, don't I say I'm tired? Right. So nonetheless, I was able to get this most amazing sleep. And it literally set the tone for how that overnight was going to be. And I needed every bit of it. So take my word for it. Head out to Daddy-O. You will love it. I'm going to link the review. I actually broke it up into 2 parts. I haven't done part 2 yet. So if you follow me on the blog at toytime.org, I have not done a part 2 yet, but I'm going to get to it. Trust me, either over the weekend or by early next week. This weekend, though, I do need to get into Sesame Place. And listen, I know that Sesame Place is geared towards children, but I must be the biggest kid that there is. I would have gone to Sesame Place even without my kids, but I will have that blog for you, hopefully by tomorrow. And just talking about our experience as a family. The first time going out to a water park or anything like that to that extent since the pandemic wasn't bad. It was not bad. There was very limited issues, a couple things here and there. About 3 parents lost their kids. And listen, I used to be very judgmental of like, how could you lose your kids? But even the best parent can lose a child, like in a crowded situation like that. Specifically, when you go to Sesame Place, especially, I think I found that the kids that were lost got lost mostly where there's a street, of course, Sesame Street. And on that road on Sesame Street in Sesame Place, there is a lot of congestion where families are kind of standing there, especially when the parade of Sesame Street characters come down. And as the people are congregating in there, it's extremely easy to lose a child. Now, I have not lost one of mine, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to parenting, because kids like to pull their hand back. They stand and stare if they see something that they want to look at. And so again, it's very easy to lose a child. So I would say, if I can give a preemptive before the blog comes out, is to just be very careful and very more aware of your children when you're in this crowd as the parade is about to start, because again, that crowd, everybody's you can't be in the street. So it's almost like a regular street. You can't be in the quote unquote Sesame Street. You have to be on the sides. And it gets crowded because everybody wants to get in that front space so they can see when, the characters come past. So just a little bit of a tidbit, but this week has been very interesting. A lot of moving parts. So I don't know why. I do know why. Let's talk about it. I talk about self-care and healthcare and mental wellness, but I have not been doing well when it comes to eating on a regular basis. I feel like I'm still in this grief path and I'm trying to get through it, because this is the only thing that can make sense to me. Since the death of my cat, I feel like my timing has been off where it comes to just doing the normal things that I would do. And any other week, any other time before that, on it. Eating my 3 meals, drinking my water, doing all these different things. So I feel like this is like a grief fog that I'm in, and I'm trying to come out of that slowly, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be. Like I thought, oh, well, you're getting better. You're not crying every single day. You're feeling better. You're moving better, but I'm experiencing like sleep deprivation. Then when I do go to sleep, I'm getting this weird, it's interrupted sleep, or I can't sleep in my bed still. So I'm still struggling in that. And I say that because, again, when you hear people talk about how are you doing and they say, oh, I'm fine. The reality is that I can honestly say I'm not. So you're doing the best that I can to get past this moment, to go through this grief. I see that my kids are going through it as well. And we're all doing it in our own different ways. So anyone who has ever experienced the loss of a pet, you just know how much that can be draining. However, this week has been interesting, and I want to try to figure out how to formulate my words around this. It's amazing how, like, as a podcaster, I should just be able to flow, but sometimes it doesn't always work that way. But what I do want to talk about, as we're going to have an amazing guest today, we're going to have M'Balia Singley on our show. She's an amazing artist, singer, songwriter, and her energy is absolutely 100% on point. You listen, when you hear her later in this episode, you're going to see why. We talk about all the things, and I just love it. But in my life, in my personal life, the things that's been going on this week, it's just a weird spacing. I had a situation this week where I could have been, and listen to me very clearly, I could have been what would be considered disloyal, right? To the point where divulging information or doing all these different things. But I'm so grateful for understanding and knowing how people work. When you hear people say things and they're trying to get an answer from you, or they want you to divulge information that could be damaging, even if it's indirectly or directly. I've gotten to the obviously age and stage where you just know people, right? You know how people operate. And so I don't allow people to bait me. Baiting people is very easily done, because some people are super direct and they ask you questions that if you would just listen to people, you could just hear the tone in which they're asking. If you listen to people, that you can just hear where this conversation might be headed. I think sometimes we don't listen to hear, we just listen to say we did. So I'm doing more of listening to hear, listening to understand, I should say. Listening to understand, because sometimes we speak so quickly without considering and thinking. And so that has been a challenge that I definitely nailed it this week, because again, people will bait you into conversations and then bait you for information. And I've gotten to the age now, if you would have asked me that in my 20s, I probably would have been giving up all the tea and all the things, serving all the sides and the crimpets but that's not my stage right now. Like, I'm not in that stage where any of that is necessary for me. So if you find yourself in a situation where you have someone trying to bait you for information, just listen to understand. And when you hear it, respond accordingly. And for me, accordingly is to just not respond. There's nothing to me to respond, to give the okay, the yes, the acknowledgement of it. Just look and wave, right? But also this week, it's been a lot of media events, and I am so happy about that because, again, as the world begins to open back up in a way, continue to be safe. Don't think for 3 seconds that we're not testing ourselves around here, wearing our masks when it's when we need to. Because if I'm outside and I'm socially distanced, I'm not about to be out here in this 100-degree weather with a mask on. But if I'm in a situation where I'm in a large crowd of people, I don't have any problems, no matter what the degrees are, to put my mask on. Nothing, again, I have to stay safe. I have children, and I have to do what I have to do. But but all of us getting out has been nice. It's actually been quite nice. And I know there's a lot of pushback because there's people who don't want to do those things. And kudos to you. I think everybody should live their lives according to what works best for them. And I'm always in agreement of that. So continue doing what you're doing. Stay safe. Be cautious. Don't let your guard down to think that the pandemic is over, because it's not. I mean, we're living now in the midst of inflation. You can't get certain products in, and the products that you do get are sky high. You have gas going up to almost $200 per, fill up for my SUV. Yes, I said SUV. Pray for me. I literally have not had this car or SUV for a year, and I would buy a car in the middle of inflation, but it is what it is. So yeah, it takes almost $100 or a little over $100 to fill that SUV. And when you consider all the many trips that I take or the events that I go to, now I have to be extremely strategic. Somebody was saying to me the other day, like, oh, I see you feel like you've cut back. Child, have you seen them gas prices? Listen, I have to be strategic. If it's in the city or the vicinity, like, okay, cool. But if it's somewhere where I have to travel out, like, I got to pray on that. Like, let me pray about, like, is the gas worth it? Like, is this going to be worth the gas prices? Like, even if I'm getting comped or whatever the case may be, that sounds great. But is it worth the gas prices? So that's the question that I have to ask myself when it's time to do things. Is this worth the gas prices? Looking at my schedule, trying to get to the point where I only schedule 2 to 3 events a week. It's getting harder because I work with multiple PRs. And so you want to be loyal to the one PR, and then you have the other PRs that you work with. And so again, it's very hard to balance. But yeah, I have to cut that back because gas ain't what it used to be. $20 ain't it. Like $20 won't even give you a quarter tank. So I can't. We can't play that game, especially like I said, because I have an SUV, it is what it is. But to all the parents whose kids are either already out of school or your children are about to be out of school, let us have a parental prayer. The parental prayer is that these kids will have a safe summer, right? And in addition to having a safe summer, that they will be gentle on our wallets. Now, we know as parents as they won't. I don't know what it is that these kids will not eat with their school stomachs. Now at school, my kids get a snack in the morning or it's like a breakfast snack. So I guess it's about 9-10 o'clock in case, there's some kids who don't eat breakfast. So they'll have a breakfast snack, then they have lunch, and then they come home. When they come home to me, they have their snack after school. They do their homework, showers, do all those things, and then they have dinner. Well, in the summertime when my kids are home, it's breakfast snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, and then can I get some ice cream? Can I get a cupcake? So they don't eat with their school stomachs when they're home. So all parents are going to start that preparation or already in the depth of, having to have more food on deck in their homes because it takes it takes money, it takes coin to make sure that you have food in your home for your kids. And this is why I always have agreed with programs that have, lunches or breakfasts or whatever they have in the summertime, because there are parents who cannot afford that. If you can't afford it during the school year, which there are parents who cannot, when you think about the cost of food, which is gone all the way up, $200 worth of groceries, maybe even a year or two ago, could have gone a lot further than they definitely do now. $200 worth of groceries. I just went to the grocery store. I spent $272. I feel like I got basically one cart of food. And if, to be honest with you, I'm going to have to go back again because that's not even going to last about a good week or so. groceries and everything has gone up. So to the parents, the parental prayer. I just pray you're patient, that your children are healthy and doing all the things, and that, you're doing all that you can, because this is not going to be an easy summer. Because again, when you add in travel, doing activities, gas prices to go places, it's going to get rough. So to my parents, I salute you. We are all in this together. But to everyone else, let's talk about something this week before we bring MB on. I want to just touch on, let's talk about rude behavior. I want to touch on and talk about rude behavior. I honestly believe that rude behavior is always in the eye of the beholder. And I feel like because what one person does may not even be deemed as rude behavior, but I feel like a lot of people who are the rudest people in the world are fully aware of how they act. They're aware of the things that they put out. They know that their energy is messed up, but they will justify it. Well, I do this, I say this, I am this way because of something that someone else said or did. Let me explain this to you. There's been 1,001 times that people have said and done things that have been outright shown up to the core wrong. However, my responses to the situation are my responses to them. I can control them. I can do whatever it is that I'm going to do with them. And I think sometimes we have to just take a step back from making excuses. And we talked about this in the accountability episode of last week. We are all responsible for ourselves. So yes, rude people it's just not in the will for me. Like, I don't like rude people. It's something about rude people that just irritate me to no end. And you're going to deal with them, especially in the summertime, because I feel like people are more laid back and they're, trying to just relax. I mean, even if you're working all throughout the summer, because people don't take a break all summer long, just these kids. You're going to have moments where you're dealing with ruder people. And again, this didn't necessarily happen at Sesame Place, because I didn't see any direct rudeness at Sesame Place, at least not with me and my family. Actually, no, that's not true. There was one situation where, while in the line at Sesame Place, my son was in line. My son is he's such a cutie, and he has the biggest heart. And he just, we're working on him to become more aggressive, and aggressive meaning not aggressive in the negative tone, but more aware of his spacing, and to just kind of like stand in his spacing and own that. Because he's the type of person, like if he's in line and somebody just gets in front of him, he'll just be like, oh, it's okay. That you needed to be there. And I'm just like, I wish I could, bring a little bit of that into my life. But then, it's also the part of making him understand, like, they didn't respect your space. They didn't respect your space. So you need to just kind of stand in there and not necessarily be argumentative, but just command your space a little bit. So as a mom, I watched this family get in front of him, and I wanted to see what he did. And of course, being the big sweetheart that he is, he just kind of let it go. And so I went over there and I said to them, so did you not see my son? What made you decide that he wasn't worth you standing where you needed to be to jump in front of a child? What made you think that would be okay? Oh, we didn't know he was in line. He was in line behind another person. You literally cut in front of him, had to almost try to sort of move him without really putting your hands on him, and you think that's okay. And so the exchange wasn't a Karen, it wasn't anything, gone to the left. It just was what made you think that was okay? Now, again, I'm in Sesame Place. They have hosted us there. I am aware that anything that I say and do is a reflection of them, especially being a part of their guests. And honestly, it wasn't anything escalated. When I said what I said, I put myself and my son back into the space that he needed to be in, and they respected it. They could have been mumbling amongst themselves, but it didn't escalate. And I wasn't going to allow it to escalate, because at the end of the day, there was nothing to dispute. You saw my son, you moved him out of his space. And I say all of that because you're going to deal with that. You're going to deal with those incidents where people are going to believe that they belong in a space that you don't belong in, right? We're supposed to be here, not you. Be very aware that everything doesn't have to be fully escalated. I get it. Everything's about cameras and recording and escalations. And we got Karens running around here. We got Keiths running around here. We got all the things, all the names, all of the foolishness running around here. But I just like to try to stay in control as much as possible because I'm not responsible for them. I'm only responsible for me. Had I went over there and started screaming and hollering, it just would have turned into a whole new thing. And I was like, let me just use communication. Let me just use clean, clear communication and see what we can do with that. And just grateful that it didn't need to escalate. Because again, I would have controlled it. I wouldn't even have allowed it to escalate. Not on the fact that I'm there as a business person and I don't need my business tarnished or people saying, well, she was there. And then if I write a blog about just the experience in general, and then they're like, oh, I remember her. And she was acting really nasty and rude. Like, I just don't want that. But I taught my son, like, stop allowing people to push you out of your spacing. And sometimes we deal with that as adults. There are people who don't believe that we are where we're supposed to be and or that we don't deserve to be wherever we're at. Listen, you cannot, should not at any point allow any of that to interfere with the things that you have going on or that you're doing. Because listen, whether you believe I'm supposed to be here or not, baby, I am here. And that is what it's going to be. So that's just a little bit of, of a word for you. We're going to be dealing with the rudeness of people all summer long. It's hot. It's going to get hotter. When it gets hot, people's attitudes and flares go up. When it gets hot and people have been drinking, attitudes and flares are going to get up. I'm always going to caution myself to try to handle things as much as peaceful as I can, because in this day and time, people don't know how to act right. People are quick to pull a weapon than they are to do anything else. And I don't have time for any of that. So again, try to manage yourself, manage your family. We have a discussion with our kids when we go places. We let them know the deal, the real about what you're about to go into. And especially because, again, I need to make my kids aware that not everybody believes that anybody should be in the space that they're in. Just be aware of yourself. Be aware, stand your ground. But, don't, if you can avoid an escalation, avoid it. Now, don't get this twisted. Had I not been there or anywhere, not just necessarily there, but anywhere, I always try to lead with understanding or try to, at least attempt to be as peaceful as possible. Again, this is the 40-year-old, 41-year-old toy. 20-year-old toy I wish somebody would. That is I really wish I waited for moments like that, just so I could pop off. But that type of energy for me to pop off is just it just doesn't exist for me anymore. I try my best. It has nothing to do with just being a parent, but as a parent to try to set an example, because if I'm always willing to pop off at every second of a whim, it's just going to be problematic. Nobody wins when you do that. And kudos to those who live their lives that way. It's just not a part of my life, my journey. So let's just be more understanding. Again, be aware when it gets hot and the rudeness comes out. When it gets hot, rudeness, and people have been drinking. If you've ever been to a sporting event or you've been tailgating and people have been drinking all afternoon, the sun is hot, people are doing the most. If they're not throwing up sick, they out here throwing bows. Be careful about what spacing you are in. Don't allow people to just walk and push themselves into your spacing. To command your respect, command your spacing. Try to go in it initially with the thought of diffusing the situation and not escalating the situation, but be prepared, be also ready to defend yourself, but also just try not to take it to that level if you possibly can. We are going to bring MB in so we can have this amazing conversation about just the joy of life, singing, and how music can be such a helpful tool with self-care. I'm always about that. So without any further ado, welcome MB after these commercials. Today's podcast is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I personally use Athletic Greens because I don't like taking a bunch of supplements and vitamins. It's something about the pills that I just can't do every single day. And regardless of your lifestyle, whether you eat keto, vegan, dairy-free, whatever your lifestyle is, this will be for all. Also, we're all about saving money, and it only costs you less than $3 a day. Not to mention, Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews. So that means at least 7,000 other people, including myself, who have used it and know the benefits of it. In addition, right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. That's right, 1 scoop in a cup of your water that you drink every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first pack purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/emerging. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/emerging to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition. All right, welcome Conversations with Toy family. We have a treat today, an absolute treat. Okay, I can't express that so many ways, but if you love music, if you love storytelling, I need you to lean in with your good ear, right? You might be working out, doing your thing. That's all good. Keep doing those things, folding up the laundry, because that's what I do when I listen to podcasts is I fold up laundry and try to catch up on some housework. Whatever you're doing, continue doing it because that's what we're doing, right? But we have MB Singley today. She is an amazing, in my opinion, singer, songwriter, storyteller, all of these different things that you want to bring in about her. And I want her to introduce herself the way she would love. You know, that's how we do here at Conversations with Toy. Let people do and say how they want to be brought in, right? So go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Toy. Okay, I am MB Singley. My full name is M'Balia, but the other pronunciation of my name is M'Balia. And we can be all the things, right? So we can be MB. I'm gonna be MB for this conversation because I'm leaning in Toy, like we just hanging out. So it's me, MB and Toy. I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised, and spent a little time in New York, but came back because needed to come home. And what else? Yeah, and I make music. I write stories. I'm a student right now. I'm in school, but making sure to find time for some music and just glad to be with you on this show.
Well, I love all of that. You listen, I'm here for being a student because, everybody can be a student of life and listen, because you'll learn a lot.
Take notes.
Take some notes, get your notebook because you will learn. If nothing else.
Get your Trapper Keeper.
Oh my God, I ain't heard Trapper Keeper in a hot minute. We are now revealing our ages at this point. Okay, Trapper Keeper. Don't even talk about that. I think you can't even go into the store and find a Trapper Keeper.
You cannot, which is a shame.
It's a shame because Trapper Keeper used to be my thing.
The bomb.
The Trapper Keeper was the most important part of the supply list because then you could go in and get some that are already decorated or you decorated yourself. Yes. Oh yeah, that was the thing.
And you could keep all of your supplies together. Remember, like all of your stuff was in your Trapper Keeper.
In one little area, and then you just close it up. You might have the zipper one.
Right.
I had the zipper one. That's when I really thought I was really doing something. Like at first I had that little fold one with the adhesive thing. Then I was like, that's cute. Then I got, my parents upgraded me to the little zipper one and you couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing. I had
we getting them A's.
Right, them A's is coming. And I got them A's, but I'm trying to keep it with life. Full life. Oh my gosh. So now that we've revealed, where we are in life.
Yes.
And if y'all there with us, y'all know y'all sitting over here
come on. You know what I'm saying? Ask somebody. If you don't know about the Trapper Keeper, just ask somebody. These are historical artifacts we need to be talking about.
Right. You know what? I feel like I should have made a time capsule. And back in the day, my kids come ask me that, did I make a time? I'm like, a time capsule. Child, we was trying to get our grown behinds at the time was just trying to get to being grown, not knowing no better. Let's just get to adulthood. Now adulthood is ghetto.
Well, we should have saved a lot of that stuff because they dressing like I used to dress in high school now. I'm like, why didn't I keep that sweatsuit?
Right. My whole kids could have been out here really on point.
Stunting
with just the old stuff I had. And at the time, I didn't want to wear it. I was so mad at my parents for wearing half the stuff we had to wear. Like, why are we wearing this?
Listen, and now they got the high-waisted jeans. They cute. The bold colors, the oversized sweaters. I'm like, give me that back.
My sweaters are oversized because my parents got them from the Goodwill and they was a little size up, so I wouldn't have to buy them but once every 2 years.
Okay.
And now that's a style. I'm like, okay.
It's coming back around. We coming back into fashion.
Right. I told them, save a couple of your pieces. Your stuff gonna come back around too.
Put it in the time capsule.
Put your time capsule together.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I'm just glad to have you here. We have so much to talk about because you have a little of a children's show. I got a chance to listen to it, and I had my son listen to it, and I had to make him go up the stairs because he needed to be about his way. Talk a little bit about what caused you. First of all, the title. First of all, give us the title of it.
Yes. Okay. So we are called Jams for Junior Johns. I had, if you're from Philly, you got to put John in everything.
Johns is a word. It's a noun. It's a verb.
It's an adverb. It's an adjective.
All the things.
All the things. And so I want to say probably in 2019, I had been doing music and movement with kids for years. And that was, whether it was Mommy and Me programs or going into daycares in West Philly or Germantown and just providing music. Because I found for little kids, music it's just joy. Like you don't have to do much to pull that joy out of children when it comes to music. And so I loved doing that in daycares and all children. Like that's the thing, like whether they're on the autism spectrum, regardless of varying abilities, like you can reach children through music. And so in 2019, I decided to kind of formalize it and start Jams for Junior Johns. And we are a trio, along with a Philadelphia-based drummer, but I knew him from work years ago named Jimmy Coleman. And we usually have somebody playing horn or trumpet. This time we'll have a guy named Chandler Judkins. And we just party, we just talk about tying your shoes. In this case, or talk about staying healthy, so like, if you got to sneeze, please put your nose in your elbows. Adults, put your nose in your elbows.
This could be for you too. I know this is for the junior Johns, but this for you too. The junior Johns, the senior Johns, all the Johns. All the in-between. Listen.
And that's a good point because we make the music for everyone, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you make music for children, what I find is you're actually making music for everyone because that child is never there by themselves. They're usually there with their guardian, a parent, a teacher. And it's important to me that whatever we're doing reaches the adult and reaches that child inside of all of us, because we can be so serious as adults, we can be so worried. And just having, these 30 minutes or 45 minutes, however long the work is, to kind of just key into that part of you that's like, oh, I'm gonna put my nose in my elbow. It's like, it's silly, but it's like, let me just be silly for that moment, And so our aim and goal is really just to kind of wake us up, to let kids be free, because that's the thing. When you start playing some music, the kids start dancing, they don't care what they look like. Their body's just free to just enjoying themselves. And so the point was to kind of figure out how to encapsulate that and turn it into a show.
I think you did a great job with it. I mean, again, the songs are memorable, so the adults will find themselves singing. I mean, but that's with anything. We watch, TV with your kids, or you're doing something with your children, or if your grandchildren or whomever, you're going to remember things because it's playing in the background.
That's right. And so I want to say during the pandemic, I started doing stuff on Instagram because I realized everyone was home with their kids, right? And so I thought if I could come up with something I was doing weekly and that I could capture, you could put your kid on a phone, which we don't want our kids on devices all the time, right? But we could talk about how they were feeling about the pandemic. And so talking about missing our friends, talking about wearing masks, things of that nature, to kind of keep kids connected to each other, and also, to have an experience that the parent could share with the child. And so that pivot was interesting because it kept me creative. But it was also, this pandemic has been difficult for all of us, but especially little ones. But, little ones can't express it, right? And that's probably something we won't see until they're of an age where they can, begin to verbalize what that experience was like. So that was important to me, to be able to create something for kids during the pandemic as well.
I love that. And again, if you have not seen it, you actually can look and see various clips of this on your YouTube channel.
That's right. If you go to YouTube, Jams for Junior Johns, all, Jams, JMS, FOR, Junior, the whole thing.
Don't worry. I know y'all didn't catch that because y'all don't be hearing to hear. So we're going to get you right. I am going to link all of this in the show notes so that you can just get the click. We are a clickable people. So we're going to make
click.
They just want to click, click, click.
Click with it, lean with it. Yes, all of it.
See how creative she just over here, just again, still telling her age because that song. Did you see on TikTok? I don't know if you're on TikTok, but how much they've taken that song and acted as if it's brand new.
Yeah,
It's not.
So that's why we have to write a song, Toy. We have to write a TikTok song.
Oh my gosh.
Get everyone. Let's do it the opposite way. Let's write a TikTok song that's very popular, but it's only like 5 seconds. Right.
It's
5 seconds. Right. Even 30 seconds is too long. And then when it becomes popular, we'll write the rest of the song. And
that's
we'll
how
just be counting our stacks.
I'm trying to get all the checks, all the coins. Let's do it. I love that. And so what are you doing now with that show? Like, are you taking that now that we're sort of getting back into the swing of life? How are you doing with that?
So I mentioned I was a student. I took a break. I realized with COVID that so much had changed in the creative world, especially in the performing arts world. And I play guitar and piano, but I predominantly sing. Like that's my, I accompany myself on guitar, but I'm always singing. And I realized like, oh, I will not be able to do this for a while, right? I was aware, spitting on people, aerosols, all of that.
Right, that's not a thing.
That was a wrap for a little bit. But I also realized when I was doing, in the times I've done music, especially for adults, a lot of the work I was starting to do was a little more provocative or evocative. Some of the things I wanted to talk about through story and song was making people feel stuff. And I didn't have the tools to address that. And so beyond being like, thank you so much. I'm glad that this pulled up this memory.
This memory. Thanks for coming, Greg.
Right. And so I decided to go back to school, and I'm getting my master's in social work right now. And so my interest right now is really to try to figure out how to weave in music into like trauma-informed work. So even as I continue to do the work with children, to kind of figure out how to get them to express themselves in ways that feel comfortable, get their parents to be able to ask them how they're doing, and not in that parent way where, I might ask my child, like, how are you doing? But I want them to say they're fine. Right. Because I don't have nothing if you're not fine. Because
if you're not, then what's the follow-up?
Right.
Like, I'm not okay. And you'd be like, well, go clean your room and God bless. Like you gotta add something.
Right. We need something, right? And we also need something as individuals. Like, how are we taking care of ourselves? So my hope is to learn some of the things, to take some of the ideas and concepts I'm learning in social work and combine them with music in a way that I continue doing my music, but I'm also doing therapy in some kind of way, Well,
music therapy is very real.
I know.
And it's very helpful. I've done it a couple times because, I am a choir director's daughter. So,
are you?
Yes.
So you're a singer.
I can dab a little bit. Now don't.
No, you can blow.
And so I've grown up my whole life just being around music. My mom was in theater. She did a lot of theater plays and things like that. So, it's not abnormal for me to go to music as a form of self-care for myself.
Yes, that's right.
There are go-to songs that I have aligned for certain levels of feelings and thoughts and processes.
That you turn to. So like when you need to, what's your song when you need to like, what's your song when you need to rejuvenate yourself?
If I need to rejuvenate myself and I've had like a bad flow of emotions, I'm going to go to Kirk Franklin, I Smile, to try to get like, it's a little bit more upbeat so that I'm not as mellow. If I'm having like really, I need a good cleansing cry.
Yeah.
If I need that, I'm going to go to Fred Hammond's Don't Pass Me By. So that's my thing. So I can get all the cries out because I don't care where you are. You could be just, wherever you are. I hear that song, it's an immediate cry and it gets a good cleansing cry. And then it's able for me to then I can go into like journal writing and things like that. So,
right. Yeah. I love that. So this is interesting because I used to work in churches and do music. But this was always generally Methodist church, right? So they don't, it wasn't a lot of contemporary stuff, but it's interesting because when I was having a moment the other day, the song that always jumps into my head is Total Praise.
I like that one too.
And because it just kind of sneaks up on you. You know what I mean? And it's like, Yeah, so I love that you have your soundtrack, and we all need our soundtrack.
We do.
You know?
Music is important. Moments. It really is important.
Can I share with you, Roots Picnic was recently here in Philadelphia.
And
Kirk Franklin was there.
I know. And I was like, why wasn't I there? Like,
but the thing I want to tell you, because my oldest daughter is a DJ and was playing.
I heard.
But I didn't see Kirk Franklin's set, but they were running behind. The tech, there was all these issues with tech. You got to get the bands on the stage. You got to sound check, line check, get them, it just takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your boy Kirk Franklin had a plane to catch. And I've heard it from two people, because I heard the first one, I was like, he's a bad cat. He looked at the time. He said, I have a plane to catch. He said, whose keyboard is that? Just leave that keyboard there. He said, take those drums out. And he went on by himself. He was like, give me my audio. Let's go. Just started rocking it. Out came his singers. Everybody just came out afterwards. They said he literally just killed it, because he didn't need to warm up. He's like, I don't need all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do what I need to do. And he said, to the point where finished the set, threw the mic. Somebody caught it. And he was blessed everyone as he threw the mic, ran and got on the flight. And I was like, Kirk Franklin is a bad.
He is. And people don't want to give him his credit. And listen, I don't know how or where or why, but even in the pandemic, people who didn't respect him enough, when he would take, and he had 5 singers, it might not even been 5, it might have been 4.
Yeah.
And they did a little bit of I said, well, give me that version.
Listen.
I always live versions so much better than the original sometimes. And I heard the same thing. I heard everybody was like, listen, them sounds was off, but he got them all together.
Listen, I'm going to get you together, because when it's in you, it's in you. We're going to do this.
Talented.
Right? And I love, I guess, and that sticks with me, because there's something about that kind of, not just belief in self, but belief in other people. Right? Mm-hmm. In that moment, it's like, I'm saying to you, Toy, I believe in you, and we're going to have a moment. And we don't need everything perfect. And there's something about that for me that really relates to working with children, because children just give you what they give you. They're not worried about how they sound.
No fear factor.
No, they're not concerned with how you feel about them. They're going to be.
Adults could really take a lesson from that.
Absolutely. And so that's why when I see adult moments like that, when I see or hear of a moment where an adult really took the perspective of, this is fresh, this is new, what's going to happen? Who knows? Let's go. I'm like, that's that inner child, right? That's that curiosity and that joy that accompanies it,
Absolutely. Well, I know that you have a show coming up, because you are going to be participating in the Kimmel Center and Wawa Welcome to America's block party.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so Kimmel is back doing what the Kimmel does. And I love the Kimmel because I love that open plaza. When you walk inside, it's like it's a part of the city, and I think they've done a good job over the years, every year, of making it more and more a place that welcomes everybody, where you just roll in and see, hey, what's going on in here?
And
let me have a little seat
and
just leave when you're done. That's right. And so they're going to be performances from local folks like me. They're going to have some Broadway superstars, from what I understand.
Yeah,
yes. Yep. That's right. What was it, Moulin Rouge?
Moulin Rouge, yeah.
Moulin Rouge. Cookie Diorio, who's this fabulous, fabulous opera singer and drag persona. Kufnats is going to be there with Christine Elise, DJ Chris Blues, and the Parkside Experience. They're going to have a little beer garden. I think there's some stuff maybe going on outside as well. But and I'll be there with Jams for Junior Johns for the kids. For the kids, the big kids, little kids, all the kids in between. All the kids from 11 to 12. And so
I'm glad you said that, so I can get there at the top of the hour.
Yes.
Because I was about to ask you, what time are you going to be?
Come on, 11.
Okay.
I start signing autographs for the diaper set around 10:45. You know what I'm saying? So no. I'm just playing. But so we're on from 11 to 12, but it's all day, And
I think it's from 11 to 8 or 11 to 7. And it's free. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, it is free. So this means you're going to get a little bit of everything from music to acting, all kinds of different genres.
That's right.
For free.
For free $99.
$3.99. That's all I always say that. $3.99. come on down. And this is for everybody, family oriented. Everybody can come down.
It's something for everybody. And it's nice because you can cool off, because that's the other time.
Hey, y'all got some good AC over there.
It's some nice AC at the Kimmel. And then it's nice if you have small people, you just want them to run around and they can run around in that space. You know how sometimes you might take your kids to like the mall or to the park and they just go buck wild running because they're like, for freedom.
Running, yeah. Right.
That's how the Kimmel is. It has all the space. And so it's just space to stretch out, enjoy. They got bathrooms, there's going to be snacks. It's just should be a nice way to spend part of your Saturday.
Yeah. And I told my husband, I was like, put that, because we link our schedule. And I was like, I'm linking it. Let's lock arms because that's what we're going to be. But I think it's going to be an amazing time. And we get to hear, just again, like you said, the kids having movement, dancing, singing. I'm looking forward to it as well. Yeah.
And some laughter, because summertime's around the corner, which means these kids are going to be out of school.
Listen, that is the first week. That's the first week my kids are actually off out of school. So we're going to be in the building. They're going to need to have somewhere to be. They're going to be there. They go be there.
Out here, yes.
Yeah, I'm like, get your sneakers on. You need some comfortable shoes. We're gonna be here a while.
I love it.
I love that. So I wanted to talk always about self-care before we end our time together. What are you doing for self-care?
So self-care for me, there's community self-care. When I check in with my community, I do a lot of stuff with the food justice movement. So for instance, there's a community refrigerator in Germantown. There's one, and they're all over the city. And so being of service for me feels like self-care in a lot of ways, because I'm taking care of not just me, but the me that reverberates out, the me, we. And that extends, of course, to my family as well, connecting. Right. So community, let me do the C's, connecting.
Right.
And really connecting with my people. Like, so just the way I'm connecting with you right now, Toy, like checking in on my girlfriends. I got into this text thing. You see, we be on these phones with this text thing, but me and my girls right now, my girlfriends, I'm like, I need to hear your voice.
Right. Let's do a video chat in.
Yes. So really making sure to be intentional about that. Because what I found was I was doing in the pandemic, when the world got small, it was like, eventually, I'll see you eventually. And what I'm finding now is like, no, I'm making the date. Like, I'm going to see you on this Saturday. It don't have to be for that long, but I want to put my eyes on you, be around your artist.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And that does so much for my spirit because those people know me, so being around people who know me and been knowing me has really felt like care. I do a lot of meditation. I'm a big fan of Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist teacher. He passed recently, but I'm a big fan of meditation and just breathing, because that does a lot for that part of our systems that gets hyped up, and we're on high alert. We've been on high alert. Let's say this, right?
All the time.
And you and I, as Black women, we were born on high alert,
right from the gate.
Right from the gate. But learning how to really listen to my body and just breathe, just be with myself, not having to do anything. I mean, one of my favorite things right now is to just lay on the floor on my back with my knees up. And that's it. Not on my phone. And feel that gravity, like resettle my spine and just like do nothing. And I'm not talking about, it ain't got to be for an hour because we don't have an hour. But even just 5 to 7 minutes of like, I'm going to just lay on this floor and look at this ceiling, or go outside and look at the sky. And so that's self-care. That has been an important part of listening to my body, because very often
we don't. Right.
We don't listen to the aches, the pains. We don't listen to it until it's outside, right?
Right. Then it becomes a thing. Then we're like, oh man, I should have.
Yeah. So just listening to ourselves, like listening to myself, and being like, oh, okay, I feel afraid right now. And really talking to myself and saying, well, why? As opposed to stuffing it down or get over it or whatever. Like, why are you feeling nervous? Why are you feeling stressed? What's actually going on right now that's taking you out of this present moment, And so that's been very beneficial. I love my good smells. My girlfriend's always like, you love good smells. I do.
Yes.
Give me some good smelling lotion. Give me some incense. Give me a candle. Give me something nice to smell, and that just changes. And I don't know, just being around people again. you know, trying to be around people. It's hard because I don't want nobody to get me sick.
Me neither, but being around people and doing it safely as you possibly can is really good for your soul. Like I have friends that I'll go and I'll hang out with. We'll go grab a, you know, glass of wine or just have dinner. That's everything.
We're social creatures, you know what I mean? And so especially after these last 2 years, and the pandemic is not over. So let me say that it's not over, but like we are social people and we need each other. And so being able to connect however we can connect is a big form of self-care for me right now.
I love that. So where can the people, if they want to follow your journey, where can they find you?
So you can find me at M'Balia.com, MBALIA.com. And that's the other thing too, because I had done a show with the Kimmel right before the pandemic. It was a one-woman show. You can find that. That's also
I watched some of that as well.
Right. And so you know, I put up their dates and ideas and thoughts I have at the website. And you can find me on YouTube. You can get in touch with me through my website. And I'm always around. You're gonna see me more and more on somebody's corner strumming a guitar. You're gonna be like, who that? Oh, that's that lady. That's that lady that was talking to Toy. I can't pronounce her name, but there she go.
Right. You just say MB if you can't, if you can't get it together.
Right. Say MB. That's
Is
what
that
my grandma used to say. Emmy. That's right.
Is that you? That be you? Well, I am so grateful for you being here and talking with our community. And again, if you are in the Philadelphia, this is on June the 25th from, I believe, 11 to 7 or 11 to 8. Yes, ma'am. It is free 99. You don't need any tickets. You just show up. You come for what you need. You leave when you're ready. There's
you come back if you want to. Right. You can leave again.
And you can walk around. There's a lot of air in that area to walk around and enjoy Philly, see Philly, and come back. And we'll still be there waiting on you. So make sure you get there.
That's right. And I'd love to see you. If you roll up between 11 and 12, come on, say hi. Come on, say hey. I'm be like, hey. I always got to sing it. I can't just say hi. I'm be like, hey.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna be just like, you know, a quick quick wave. Like I'm gonna be a dramatic and extra.
Yeah, like right. Let's come up, connect, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
This has been such a treat, Toy. And you know, you get around. I did see you sipping drinks various places. Saw you at Sesame Place when I went to your Instagram. I was like, oh, she moved.
I be moving.
You be out here.
But listen, this was a long stretch from when I first became a mom. I was that good stay-at-home mom, and I was like, you know, suffering through postpartum, not going nowhere, you know, crying and dying. I want to be with adults. I got to be with the adults. And then, you know, I started the blog, and that opened it up for me. And yeah,
there's that curiosity. I love that curiosity, right? Multitudes. Look at all those phases you just talked about too, because that's what motherhood can do to us, right? It shifts us all up. You know, and I never, and you know, I'm terrible. I never let my kids forget, especially my oldest. I'd be like, do you know my feet are flat because of you?
Listen, I done went up a whole shoe size over all three of these kids is somewhere, a combination of somebody somewhere.
But the thing that's neat is, you know, whether it's children of your own, whether you raise children, whether you're an auntie, we as socialized women, we go through so many changes. And so staying curious, like that's the thing, that's the gift we have, staying curious about ourselves, like pivoting when necessary, trying again, you know what I mean? I'm just looking at you in your cheeks. You're so radiant. You know what I'm saying? You. Yeah, you really are. But that comes from that continued self-discovery, you know? And so I'm glad to get to know you because it's like, you know, we're going to keep going. We
are, but I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you.
Oh, yeah.
If I don't see you before, I'm going to see you in 2 weeks.
I was about to see, I will run up on you.
Listen,
you have a little cocktail with your friends. I'll be like, Toy.
And I'll be like, come on, this is MB. We gonna sit down and chit chat, and it'll be just fine. My friends are we're good. We don't have them problems. Everybody can sit at the table.
It's all love. Everybody, right? Everybody comes to the table.
Yep. So thank you so much for your time. We can't wait to see you in person in 2 weeks on June the 25th. Remember, you know, MB is going to be there between 11 and 12. So if you want to get there at the top of the hour, get there, kind of see what's going on. Again, it's free. There's plenty of things to eat, drink, and have a great time. So come on out.
Thanks, Toy.
So what did you think about the episode? MB is a ball of light. legit a ball of light. It was almost like talking to my girlfriend. She just has this amazing energy that just cannot be denied. I mean, this was just our first conversation. Oftentimes, to be honest with you, when I talk to guests, I do a lot of the background stuff behind the scenes. But when it comes to the recording process, we literally chit chat seconds before it's time to speak. And just the energy right off the bat, I knew that when we were doing like our pre-chat right before the recording, that it was just going to be just the best conversation we've ever had. So thank you, MB, for being such a great trooper, being on the episode. Make sure you get to the Kimmel Center on the 25th. You want to make sure you get there because it is free 99. So get your families if you're in the Philadelphia area, if you'll be in the Philadelphia area. It's going to be, there's some things on the inside and as well as the outside. The inside is properly air conditioned. Listen, the Kimmel Center don't play games. I've been in the Kimmel Center so many times in a month's time. Like I go so many times throughout the month just for different events. And the Kimmel Center is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's aesthetic. It's a beautiful, eyesight. It's just everything. So make sure you get to the Kimmel Center. You get there. You don't need tickets. You just show up. Bring your mask if that's what's going to make you comfortable. Do that. And let's have a good time. Let's have a good time and hear a little bit of art, hear some music, get a little bit of dancing. I'm sure there will be plenty of food to drink because they don't play. Like the Kimmel Center they know how to do what they're doing. So shout out to the Kimmel Center for having MB on the episode, and just so that we can make sure that we are out there supporting artists and supporting artistry and just having a day of arts. Arts has not died, and it's a beautiful thing to expose your kids to the arts. Take them to shows, live shows, take them to, plays and theater. I take my kids as often as possible. We're always in someone's theater all year round. I love that. I want them to have that experience. So I'm sure you will see me there. If you do, make sure you say hi. I will not be shy. You can say, hey, Toy, or Toy Time. People do both. It's totally okay. So yeah, I cannot wait to see you there. Cannot wait to see MB. And I want you to have a good weekend. Because listen, these weekends is like seconds. So I want you to just really deep dive into enjoying your weekend, enjoying your time, relaxing. We have a lot going on this weekend, but let me tell you, after my Sunday run, I'm going to go back to my runs with my running group. I had stopped and delayed it for such a long time, but I'm going to go back, Lord's will, this Sunday and, do with my running group. I'm excited for that, a little bit nervous. But in addition to that, I don't have a thing planned. I kind of want that whole full laid back Sunday vibe because I already have a lot of stuff going on Saturday. So on Sunday, you will catch me relaxing. I want to take a, afternoon nap. I want to, maybe do content later on in the evening. I just want to relax. So I want you to do the same. Whatever you need, go ahead and grab it this weekend. If you need to hang out with your friends, do that. If you need to, spend some quality time with your boo, like do all the things, do it all. Cause listen, we need to rejuvenate ourselves because these weekends is like flashpoints at this point. So have a good week. We will be back with you next week. We have another guest coming next week. Listen, I'm surprised. Like summertimes are sometimes some of the hardest times to book guests because people be on vacation, but listen, we are going to be good. So step back into next week. I'm going to be playing different snippets of this episode on social media. And if you're not following me, go ahead and give a follow. Follow me on all the social media things. And I look forward to, interacting. And if you ever are on the blog and leave a comment, say, hey, I found you through the podcast. Totally okay with me. I love all of that. So have a good weekend. See you next week. And let's just lean into some joy and just find some joy in life. Because listen, life is already hard. It's already dishing out the things. I wish you nothing but greatness this upcoming weekend.
Thank you as always for joining me, and I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.